Mountaineering and ruckus are common sights. It was day 9 today, and as always, no discussions. There was only dangal. The opposition continued to demand the Prime Minister's statement in Parliament over Manipur. This time, they have gone a step further. They have invoked the BJP stalwart and India's loved Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, in order to exert more pressure on Prime Minister Modi to speak. In fact, TMC MP Derek O'Brien asked the Prime Minister to be inspired by Mr. Vajpayee, who has spoken in the upper house several times.
Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, you wouldn't be inspired perhaps by what Dr. Manmohan Singh or other prime ministers would do, because you'd feel they're from different political parties. At least be inspired by Mr. Vajpayee, former Prime Minister. Now, Mr. Modi, you're running away from Parliament. Take inspiration from Mr. Vajpayee, former Prime Minister. In the year 2000, he spoke twice in Rajya Sabha. Mr. Modi, follow the example of Mr. Vajpayee. Don't run away from Parliament.
Well, Team India is getting its wish because now the no confidence motion has a date. That date is the 8th of August. And the Prime Minister will reply to this no confidence motion on August 10th, which means for 3 days, Parliament will be debating the Manipur issue, post which the Prime Minister will speak on the 10th. Meanwhile, uproar continued in the Rajya Sabha as well today. The Rajya Sabha chair, Jagdeep Dhankar, has chided the opposition for their repeated protests. Mr. Dhankar said the insistence of the opposition on the Prime Minister's presence is constitutionally improper. Once again, opposition MPs staged a walkout from the Rajya Sabha after the ruling MPs continued House proceedings despite their demands. Leader of the opposition Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, tore into the government once again and said the government is acting like dictators and they are taking democracy for a ride. They are in fact muting the voice of the opposition on the floor of the House. Mr. Kharge also saying that the government is spreading misinformation about the opposition. Listen in.
आप अपने आप को मत बनाइए, insistence by the honorable members that the honorable Prime Minister response is constitutionally ill-premised. The accountability of the government, the executive to the legislature is a collective responsibility. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, do you want me to name you? You are not listening to the chair. Why are you creating ruckus? Why are you?
हम ये चाहते थे कि प्रधानमंत्री जी सदन में आए, अपने विचार रखे, क्योंकि सिर्फ होम मिनिस्टर का सवाल नहीं है। जो प्रधानमंत्री सदन में रहकर जवाब देने के बजाय ये बाहर जवाब देते हैं, बाहर हमको टीका टिप्पणी करते हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास मेजॉरिटी है, बुलडोजर लगा रहे हैं। ये तो डिक्टेटरशिप है। मैं तो ये कहूँगा कोई कुछ भी बोलने दो, ये तो हिटलर शाही है। और जब हम बात करने के लिए उठते हैं, वो अपोजिशन पार्टी की बात को वो अपोज करते हैं और रूलिंग पार्टी वाले उठ के चिल्लाते हैं, नो, मैं और मेरा माइक बंद करते हैं।
Let me go straight across to my guests who are joining me this evening. Thank you very much. We have Shivam Chhabra, spokesperson of the BJP, with us on the broadcast. We have Mr. Ashpreet Khadial, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Hi, Ashpreet. Good evening. Neerja Chowdhury is a senior journalist. She is joining us from the broadcast as well. Mr. Shivam Chhabra, once again, it's been 9 days. For at least 3-4 days, we have seen Mr. Kharge come out and say that the opposition is not being allowed to speak on the floor of the House, that mics are being muted every time he stands up and even mentions Manipur. How's that fair in a democracy? He's calling this Hitler Shahi. Is he wrong?
See, I don't buy these arguments given by the Congress party. What is on record The Honorable Home Minister of this country, Honorable Shri Amit Shah ji, has come out in open, has sent out a letter to Kharge ji specifically, has spoken in public, has spoken on the floor of the House. Both the leaders of houses have spoken on the floor of the House that Bharatiya Janata Party is ready for all sorts of discussion on Manipur. Let's discuss. But I am unable to understand what is making the Congress party avoid this kind of a discussion on the floor of the House. I mean, what is on record? I'm saying it again on the record. The Bharatiya Janata Party is willing to do discussion on the issue of Manipur on the floor of the House. What is refraining Congress party and other political parties who have a different agenda altogether, and probably they only want to politicize the entire matter and not do a Sarthak kind of a discussion on this issue? So this is again, it is the responsibility of the opposition party, and I think the Manipur is not gaining out of any kind of logjam in the parliament. This is a very, very sad situation.
Okay, the politicians are often accused of politicizing issues. Obviously, they'll politicize issues. It's their job. I don't see why politicians should not politicize issues. As I said, it's their job. But Ashpreet Khadial, up to there is a date. 8th of August is when the no confidence motion ka discussion will start. 10th of August is when the Prime Minister will speak on Manipur. Now, at least from tomorrow on, if not today, will we see the House function peacefully?
Despite murders, despite rapes, assaults, harassment, Manipur burning, Supreme Court coming down heavily upon the government, no confidence motion, victims seeking help in Manipur, the government decides to pass bills over it. And this shows what the priority of the Bharatiya Janata Party is. It is votes over victims. They can go to Rajasthan but cannot go to Manipur. It shows that the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to avoid the discussion because they have no answers to the question. Why was there a delay in registration of the FIR? Why was there a delay in arresting the culprits? Why was there a delay in issuing a statement by the Prime Minister? Why was there a mere 35 seconds that was given by the PM to the victims of Manipur? Why did he not choose to go to Manipur when he had all the time to travel the world? There are so many
Mr.
questions.
Khadial, I've asked you a simple question.
And I am
the questions that you asked are the questions that the Supreme Court has asked the centre. And the centre will respond to the Supreme Court because as fatkar lagi hai Supreme Court se Manipur police ko. So those questions will be answered. I asked you a simple question which you have not answered. I have asked you. Now there is a date for the no confidence motion. August 8th. 10th of August is when the Prime Minister will speak. The opposition has pressurized him to speaking and that is the job of the opposition. Well done on that. I want to ask you, between now and the 8th, at least will the opposition let the parliament function? Why are you saying how are bills being passed? Bhai, parliament has to work, na?
Now, one thing, Shreya. First and foremost, had you have heeded the very first statement that I had uttered, that there have been murders, there have been rapes, should that not be the priority of the government? Are we not living in the world's largest democracy? People have been killed, for God's sake. The Supreme Court has said it, that the government hasn't been doing much. And despite that, they're saying we'll do it afterwards. First, we have to pass cinematograph amendment bill. That is important. Delhi ordinance pe bill aana chahiye. That is more important. This goes on to suggest that the government is insensitive. This goes on to suggest that the government does not have any compassion. This goes on to suggest that there is no more democracy left. And you, Shreya, instead of asking questions of the government, is saying that it's fine now that the government has given a date. This should have been discussed on the very first day. It was not. It is unfortunate. Number two.
Okay.
Now you see what problem does the Prime Minister have in issuing a statement? Now, is it not his country? Is he not the Prime Minister of India? Is Manipur not a state of India? Does the Bharatiya Janata Party not rule in Manipur? So why does the Prime Minister have to show reluctance? Why does there have to be a delay? And this goes on to show that the Bharatiya Janata Party does not want to answer questions which the Bharatiya Janata Party does not have answers to. Number
Mr.
two,
Chavda,
you see, the Manipur was already
Mr.
being
Chavda,
silenced.
where are your
now
priorities?
The is also being silenced.
Okay.
Kharge's mic has been switched
Mr.
off.
Chavda, essentially the Congress is asking. Okay. Mr. Chavda, essentially the Congress spokesperson is asking where are the BJP's priorities? 160 people have died. Countless women have been sexually assaulted. Many of them have been gang raped and murdered. 60,000 people have become refugees in their own homes. And yet the government decides to hold a discussion on the 8th, and then the Prime Minister speaks on the 10th. Jabki the Delhi Ordinance suddenly takes priority over Manipur, or the Cinematography Act takes priority over Manipur. What is the sense of priority that the BJP government is showing essentially is the charge by the Congress and the opposition?
Shreya ji, your first question to me in the previous part was the BJP ready for discussion? I said it point blank. The Bharatiya Janata Party is ready for all sorts of discussion on the floor of the House. Can you please ask Ashpreet ji that what is refraining them from avoiding that discussion? Why are they running away from
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm the anchor. Let me ask the question, Mr. Chabra.
What is their priority?
I've asked you a question.
To answer. For me,
please
for
tell
government,
us what is the sense of priority?
For
where a state has burned for 3 months.
Government, it is the people of this
160 people have died,
yes,
and you are saying we'll discuss it on 8th.
No, it is not about discussion again. What I'm saying is, as far as the action part is concerned, that is already on the floor. That is already happening. I don't need to probably, make a commitment on that. The action is already there. The culprit will not be spared. That is the commitment of the Bharatiya Janata Party towards the people of Manipur. That is my commitment, my party's commitment, my government's commitment to the people of Manipur. What I am asking is, as an irresponsible opposition, if you are really concerned about the situation, why to look at it as a selective kind of an approach? Why are you not discussing on Rajasthan? Why are you not discussing on Bihar? Why are you not discussing on Karnataka? Why are you not discussing on Chhattisgarh? Why just
the Supreme Court has answered that question.
You are looking at it as selective
kind of. The Supreme Court has answered that question.
What my idea is,
the Supreme Court has answered that question conclusively.
See, again, I am trying to say, Supreme Court is what? Shreya ji, what I am trying to say is,
you know what the Supreme Court has said about West Bengal and Chhattisgarh, right? When there was an intervention in court yesterday,
all sorts of discussion.
By Basuri Swaraj.
No. I am saying it is all about the logjam in the parliament. Okay, it is all about the logjam in the parliament. Nothing of that sort. Otherwise, our government is already in action. The Union Home Ministry is already in action. The state government is already in action.
The government has been in inaction for the last 3 months.
The
government has been in inaction for 3 months because of which the Supreme Court has given the Manipur police a dressing down. Okay, and they make the exact same charge on the government. So this tutu meme will continue. Neerja Chowdhury, I just want to simply ask you, as a citizen who's watching proceedings in Parliament every day, the opposition had a demand. The opposition passed a no confidence. They introduced a no confidence motion. They want the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur. That purpose has been met. The government of India has committed a date, 8th of August. They are saying 10th of August is when the Prime Minister will speak. Now, will it be unfair for the opposition to continue stalling Parliament?
Yes, I think it will be unfair for the opposition to continue stalling Parliament. I was recalling Pranab Mukherjee's words when he was president and the House was being stalled day after day. And he said, for heaven's sake, get on with it. And for heaven's sake, the opposition, get on with it. The questions that the Congress spokesperson is raising on your channel tonight, valid questions, relevant questions must be asked, but not only on your TV channel. They must be asked on the floor of the House. That's why they're MPs. That's why they're meant to be in Parliament. What is Parliament there for? You might as well shut shop. If all you're going to do is to protest and stop. You made your point that the Prime Minister has not spoken in Parliament. You've stalled Parliament, you walked out. There is the moment comes when the protest has to end. You've got to consolidate your gains and raise the voice of the people of Manipur in Parliament. Why is the opposition not doing that? And it is not fair. It is not fair to you or me or the people of Manipur. The whole House, the session is going to be washed out and we will hear nothing in Parliament about any of the bills. The BJP government is passing them. Dhada-dhad, dhada-dhad, dhada-dhad. Is that what we deserve? Should those bills not be critiqued?
Yeah.
You made your point on Manipur and you're right, 8th, 9th and 10th. There'll be extensive discussion. Manipur will dominate the discussion. The Prime Minister will answer at the end of it. So I think the opposition needs to go back to their houses and raise these issues.
Ashpreet, respond to what Neerja ji is saying. She's not from the BJP. She's not a BJP supporter either. She's an independent analyst. She's like me, watching proceedings in Parliament every day. Respond to what she's saying. You've made your point. Your point was valid. The Prime Minister has now been forced to speak on the floor of the House. He'll do that on 10th. Will the opposition let Parliament function till at least the 8th?
Thank you, Shreya. Shreya, first and foremost, the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson has not been able to answer this one thing. Why should the discussion over Manipur wait? Why should it wait? Give me one good logic. Give me one good reason. Let alone, had there been one life lost, it still should have been our priority. Right to life, Article 21, our Constitution says. Your government says that it follows the Constitution. Then now, why are you not practicing what you've been preaching all the time? The Bharatiya Janata Party, even if there would have been one death, here there have been many deaths. Why do you want to postpone it? Why do you want to delay it? What else is more important than this? This goes on to suggest that the Bharatiya Janata Party does not want to speak over it for some reason that only they know about. There is a reluctance for some reason, and that's why the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson should tell, why do we have to have a delay? Why do we have to postpone it? Give me one good reason, I will give up. Number two, the fact
you are giving me gol jalebi. I asked you a simple question. You're giving me gol jalebi. The fact is the matter being discussed in Parliament. Just a minute. The fact is that the matter being discussed in Parliament right now, whether it happens on the 4th or whether it happens on the 8th will not make a difference.
It would not.
Let's keep that in mind. Because the situation, the worst is now over in Manipur. And there have been some absolute horrors that have happened, but the worst is over.
1 second, please. Ask the families of all those victims that have lost their sons, that have lost their daughters. Ask them if they should be made to wait, if they should be made to wait for justice. And you're saying that everything's fine now. It's no more happening.
The Supreme Court is already ensuring that justice is given to them.
Still many arrests are 1 second.
Our netas in Parliament will not ensure that justice.
No, this is wrong.
The Supreme Court is already hearing the matter. The Supreme Court will ensure that there is justice delivered to their doorsteps.
No, 1 second, please. Are you saying that we shouldn't have a discussion on priority? Are you saying this shouldn't have happened on the very first day? The very first thing should have been that should have come
I'm saying you should. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying, Ashpreet.
Number two, what we are saying is, please, Shreya, let me have my say. All we are saying is that this should have come out on the very first day. In the very first segment, this should have been discussed upon. And number two, there are still people who are awaiting justice. There are still culprits who are absconding, who are yet to be arrested. They have not been arrested. There are still many cases where the FIRs are yet to be registered. And you're saying that it's all fine. It is not. It should be discussed so that justice can be brought in. And it's not just the Supreme Court that has to try. It is the opposition. It is the Parliament. It's the country that has to try in totality. It is our people, as a matter of fact. It is a part of India. And if the Parliament would discuss it, I don't know who would, where it would be discussed. And if the Bharatiya Janata Party could tell me one thing.
That Neerja Chowdhury, then my sense is...
The bills that are being passed. Let me just say one thing. The bills that are being passed are constitutionally suspect because the no confidence motion has already been passed. Legally, if you go to the court of law, you would be astonished that these bills are constitutionally suspect. They are unconstitutional because no confidence motion already stands fast. The discussion should have already happened after it was passed. Yet, there has been no discussion. The BJP is trying every single effort in order to avert it. We don't know why the Bharatiya Janata Party is not prioritizing it. Only they can answer this.
Neerja Chowdhury, final comment to you. Then my own sense is that at least till the 8th, wahi haal hone wala hai Parliament ka, that has happened for 9 straight days. All politicians will come in, all parliamentarians will come in, waste the taxpayers' money, do some screaming, shouting, give sound bites outside Parliament, and then go home at 2 o'clock, conveniently.
I think, this is the way, this is the upshot of what is being said on your channel tonight. Of course, it should have been discussed. Manipur should have been discussed on day one. I agree with that. But you have made your point. If the other side, the Treasury benches are saying we are ready for a discussion on Manipur in the House, then that is something the opposition should now take as given, have a discussion, because they have got the Prime Minister to speak at the end of the no confidence motion. So that demand will be met. But, you know, I sense it has become a naak ki ladai for both sides, and the casualty is going to be the issue of what happens to the people of Manipur. And the signal that needs to go is the rest of India cares about what happens in Manipur. And I think if Parliament doesn't function on Manipur and doesn't debate on the issue of Manipur, that's not a single signal that's going to go.
Right now, the signal that is going to Manipur is that our parliamentarians simply don't care, because they come, they fight with each other, they scream, they shout, and they go back home. That's the sum total of what has happened in the last 9 days. It is shameful. And I do agree with Ashpreet. I've contradicted him on the show a couple of times, but I agree with him that Manipur should have been the top priority for this government. On that point, I agree with Ashpreet. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Thank you, Neerja ji, for joining us. Ashpreet, good to have you on the show. Shivam Chabra, thank you very much for joining us on the show as well. With that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks for watching. Good night. We have Nivedana joining you at the top of 9 with all the day's top stories. Do stay with Mirana. Good night for the moment.